Y'all ready to blaze away or what?
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we have some really cool information to talk about, to break down and discuss. Everyone's waiting for Tekken 8, whether that's news, whether that's an announcement. We're just waiting for the developers to say something. My guess is they won't. My guess is it's going to be another 2-3 months of silence. And then once E3 comes, maybe they'll tweet something, maybe they'll say something, and then at E3 is where they will announce Tekken 8. Now, the reason why I believe that is because I did a video about this like a month ago or something, but basically Michael Murray has already said on Twitter, the only time they announce new video games is at E3. So I'm guessing they're just going to be silent, they're not going to say anything, and at E3 is when we'll get the big reveal. Now, in terms of what that is going to do to the community, I don't know. I did a video already where I was covering Tekken 7's popularity on Twitch and Tekken 7 Steam's statistics, and Tekken 7 right now is having a huge downtick. It was up and up and up and up and up, but then once we passed that Evo threshold, it's been all downhill from there. Downhill in terms of viewership, downhill in terms of spectatorship, downhill in terms of players, right? There's still a lot of people playing Tekken 7, don't get me wrong, but it's slowly going downhill. And I think that's even obvious when you look at the content creators. How many content creators are they're not giving up on Tekken, but they're doing other things, right? At E3 is when we'll get the big reveal. If Tekken 8 wasn't ready, I think they would have done something else with Tekken 7, because maybe another season or something, because the game is super popular. Even though it's dying hard right now, I still think it's really popular, and a lot of people play it every day still, right? And this thing that we're going to be talking about today, it's going to give us a little bit more insight onto how Tekken 8 is maybe being developed, when may it possibly show up. Just a few things, a few questions this news article will be able to answer for us. Now, this was brought to my attention from a post made to the Tekken subreddit. Coder3 puts Bandai Namco developing new in-house engine led by engine lead of Konami's Fox engine. And then they have a link here. Now, when you click on the link, it takes you to a games forum, basically where, I don't know if this is just things translated to English or if this is like an actual discussion taking place. But we have some things in here that I want to read, and it gives us a lot of insight into what's happening, just not only with Tekken 8, but with Bandai Namco overall. Because here's the thing about Tekken 8. I was wondering, what engine will it be made on? Tekken 7 was made on Unreal Engine 4, and we know there was some problems, and there was some things that came up using Unreal Engine 4. I have a news article here. I went back and found it. July 5th of 2017, Harada says Unreal Engine 4 is causing apparent input delay in Tekken 7. If you scroll down past all the reading, you have a section here that is a quote from Harada and Michael Murray. So it says, according to Bandai Namco's Tekken 7 game designer Michael Murray, there is no 8-frame buffer, and people fail to take into account the input delay from the hardware side. In a follow-up tweet, producer Harada confirmed that this is indeed the cause, and that the issue is caused by the Epic's Unreal Engine 4, which is said to eat 3 to 4 frames. So basically, in 2017, there was this big discussion happening. I can't remember exactly what was taking place, but Harada and Michael Murray, they put the blame, or some of the blame, on Unreal Engine 4. Also, they put some of the blame on Dunvo. Basically, it's anti-cheat software. Those two things combined took the fall for how Tekken 7 was performing at the time. Now, we know that at the end of Season 4, Harada, in I believe it's one of the final updates for PC, they removed Dunvo. And you have to wonder, if they're removing that thing that they blamed such a long time ago, are they now going to drop Unreal Engine 4 and create their own engine? So you have Unreal Engine 4 they already put shame or put doubt on this engine. You have Unreal Engine 5, which is the next version, the next iteration. Will they switch to that? At the beginning of Unreal Engine 4, Tekken 7's development, there was a lot of hurdles, a lot of bumps. Some of the characters came out ugly, but now 7 years later, 6 years later, we're getting beautiful stages, we're getting stunning characters, and you just have to imagine what a entire game built on Unreal Engine 4 would look like now that they've mastered it. But from how recently Unreal Engine 5 was announced, it looks like a lot of developers wasn't aware of it, so they weren't able to make games. So I don't know if Tekken 8 will be used on that as well. It's really going to boil down, in my opinion, I think, to Unreal Engine 4 or whatever this new engine that Bandai Namco is developing. Now, let's go back to the forums. Let's read. It says, Automation Media, Bandai Namco developing new in-house engine led by Julian Mers something. It goes on to say the company is developing an engine designed to withstand the development of large-scale games such as the open world. The CTO is Julian, who was once involved in the development of game engines for other companies and is in charge of the engine production. So that alone shows us that this is in capable hands. You have someone who's done this many times before. Perfect. That's what we want. The next one, the reason for in-house production is that we want to continue to have technological capabilities to create a solid foundation by ourselves, rather than leaving the base to game engines made by other companies. Now, I think this kind of goes back to the de novo conversation. I don't know if you guys seen that video, but in that video, I was sort of breaking down how Harada was sort of communicating with the de novo devs, but just the process was so slow. He was telling them, your software is slowing down our game. And they were like, okay, we'll fix it. And Harada was like, when? They was like, I don't know. And basically Harada kept checking back to see if they had a fix, and they never have. That's why they eventually pulled it. And you have to wonder if it was the same thing with Unreal Engine. Has he been going back and forth with Unreal like, hey, this is causing a 3 to 4 delay in our fighting game? That's way too much, where moves are like 10 frames, 11 frames, 12 frames. You do have to consider that. The next one says, I think the development was decided around 2018. First of all, it was a policy to prepare only the runtime from a game framework and development tools when there is room. So I was allowed to run it. However, at the time, it coincided with the development of other large games, and development was at a slow pace. After that, concept of the game engine was verified by several people, and based on prototyping, full-scale development began around 2019. Now, this is a very interesting section here. Hanaruchi is saying in 2018 is when the development for this engine first began, and it was very slow because there was other games being developed. Now, if I had to imagine what those other games would be that was eating up the development time, I would say Tales of Arise, Elden Ring. In that 2018-2019 era, I don't think they were working on Tekken 8 at the time. They probably were working on like Leroy Smith and stuff like that. So if they was working on Tekken 8, it maybe was like story or something in very early stages. I don't think they were working on game mechanics and like actual stages and stuff at that time, because here's the thing, back in the early days of Tekken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those games can be put out within a year. So we know once they decide to make a game, they can put it out immediately. 1 year, 2 year turnover time. So that's really good. The next post says, there's no development title so far. I think this is referring to the development title of the engine. From a sensational point of view, I think we should be able to start game development in about a year. I don't know what sensational point of view means. Let's continue. It is well known that the company is promoting the development of game engines, so we're currently receiving feedback from the field through technical artists. They're saying that maybe they are giving out dev kits, or maybe they're giving out inside information, and then developers who may possibly want to use their engine is giving feedback, right? Because if they are working on their own engine, their biggest competition is Unreal Engine 5. So they need all the feedback and all the criticism they can get so they can be able to compete. We see Unreal Engine 5, they're doing developer kits. I seen one on Star Wars. They had it on YouTube. I was watching that the other day. The big one that caught everybody's attention was the Matrix crossover that Unreal Engine 5 did. That was really cool. It gives you a look at what the engine is capable of. So I'm guessing they are possibly doing the same right now. But I think this seals the deal. Right here seals the deal. I don't think they're using Tekken 8 to make this, because if they were, that means Tekken 8 would be 1 year away from being started, not finished. But I want to translate this headline just to get a bigger understanding of what's happening. Bandai Namco Studio is seriously creating an in-house game engine that can also create an open world, and we're looking for developers. I asked about the background of development and the human resources I'm looking for automation. What we really should be focusing on is the open world aspect. The fact that they keep mentioning open world means that this is not the only way this has to deal with Tekken, is if they're creating some Tekken Force Battle Royale game mode, right? That's the only way you can see them doing open world large scale map where you can roam around. Or if the story mode was going in that direction where it was the open world story mode, me personally, that would be next level if they did that, but I'm not expecting that. That's like a far out there theory that I won't even start to spread, but that would be pretty cool. An open world Tekken game. But that's pretty much it. That's everything that I really wanted to discuss about this. I think this is very interesting, but this is more so looking towards the future. Tekken 8, if it's not done being developed, they're probably putting on the final touches. E3 2022 is where I'm expecting to get a lot more news and information about Tekken. So that's pretty much it. That's everything that I really wanted to discuss about this. I think Bandai Namco is definitely working on a new engine so they don't have to deal with other companies, right? Unreal Engine, Denuvo. When you build your own engine, you can do whatever it is you want with it, and you're way more flexible. If there's a problem, you just get on the elevator, go downstairs and say, hey, this is happening, and they're like, oh, okay, we can fix that. And then, development continues. So I do think this is going to be good for them in the future, but I don't think this will take effect until, many years from now. Maybe when they start making a Tales of Arise 2 or something like that too, then we may see this happening. But for Tekken 8, I think this is a separate situation. Tekken 8 is probably already done. They're probably in the marketing phases. They're probably just trying to fix out any little glitches and things here. But that's going to be it. That's all I really want to talk about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.